I was thinking how, one, I actually normally do say things like a lot of my patients have X, Y, and Z just to normalize.
Yes.
So I think I forgot to do that this time, but I normally would say, you know, a lot of my patients have these experiences, at least one, and many have more than one, something like that. And I was really curious to know what you would have said or what you would say about the word. I think I used something like challenging experiences or difficult experiences. And I literally, when I said, I wonder what Alicia would say.
Well, thank you for giving me thank you for giving me the honor of giving you feedback about that. Let me say that you might not have said explicitly that a lot of these things happen to most of your patients, but the way you describe the reason for the screening made it so clear that you are doing it with all patients. And then the way that you described what the body does and what the emotions do, it was very seamless in my mind.
Okay.
The way you establish the connection between, you use the term difficult. And I really like you're using the term difficult myself, just because it's such a user-friendly word. It's such an everyday word. And for a teenager, it's just exactly what it feels like. These are difficult things to go through. So I actually felt that if I had been your patient, you would have put me at ease. You were very warm and receptive. You also showed interest in your patient as a whole human being. And I think that the way that he answered you, going into some detail, really showed that he appreciated the way that you framed the reason for the screeners. One more thing I'd like to say is that I really liked that you started with the depression screener and explaining why one does the depression screener, because you normalized the word depression, which can often be very scary for patients, particularly for young people. And then there was a real natural segue from difficult feelings like depression to difficult experiences and what the impact might be physically and emotionally. So I think you did the triads of adversity, impact of adversity in the form of distress, and then strengths. You gave it space of its own. And you linked it to the great things that he does. And I think the message to him was, I see you, I notice you, I appreciate, I remember everything that you've told me.
Great. Well, thank you, Alicia. That's reassuring. Do you think it would have helped to have said, nor if I often also, but I didn't in this scenario, I will say something like, I don't know, the headaches you get, or the, you know, and I definitely have in my head not to use the root of the problem to get to the root of the problem, but that there, to make a link between, you know, that we realize that some of these challenging experiences or difficult experiences can impact the number of headaches you've been having, and that all the medications I give you or tools we try and give you to address that isn't going to impact it the way we want it to, unless we really understand some of the, and this is where I'm not sure, because I would say root of the problem, which I know is not ideal. What would you say? Underlying?
It's interesting. He didn't, I'd like to, I love thinking with you about this. I think that giving an example like headaches, it's a great example. Because it makes it very specific. He did not bring up headaches.
No.
So it might be that that is a place where you could say, for example, a lot of my patients tell me that they have headaches, and they've had many of these things happen to them. And it helps them see the association that the body is saying, I am under stress. And the stress shows itself in headaches. So I like that idea of normalizing it and giving it a specific example. What you did do, though, that was really important, I thought, was to leave the door open for him to think about this, think about his past experiences, and bring it up if it's useful. So you planted a seed, and I would imagine that in the follow-up session, you could go back and revisit that because you already established the foundation for going back to it.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
I think you are also bringing up an important question, and is that we always leave things unsaid, or we feel that we said too much or that we said too little. There's always room to rethink how we did. But that in itself is so useful, because it means that the next time that we meet with the patient, we can have those reflections in mind and address them. And relationships are dynamic, right? So you can always introduce new elements that you think are necessary.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Alicia.
Thank you, Anda.
I wish I had this every day. A coach.
Thank you.